to the Life and Listings podcast. My name is Jennifer Statz. I am the host, and today I'm going to be doing a solo episode, releasing one of our playbooks for August, which is we're going to be talking about your database, mastering your CRM setup for your team or brokerage. So if you are an individual agent, this can still kind of qualify for you, especially if you're looking to build a team. There's so many different things and intricacies when you're building a database or you're setting up a CRM that I want you to take a look at so you don't make mistakes that I see more often than not. So our topic today, a lot of our references is going to be to my favorite CRM, which is Follow Up Boss, but you can really use this across all different CRMs. You could even use this, some of it in like an Excel sheet if you would. But a lot of this is things that I see slipping through the cracks and aligning your team so everything makes sense, right? We want to save you time so you don't have to repeat work over and over again. Okay, we're going to talk about how we're going to set it up, how we're going to onboard people to our team that's going to reference our CRM. We're going to talk about lead flow, contracts, and then cleanup. So why does your CRM matter? If you have been listening to our podcast or if you are on our newsletter, you're going to understand that I feel like every single agent should have a CRM, okay? A CRM is more than contact storage. It's going to help you scale your business. It's going to hold your entire sales pipeline, and it's going to hold your agents accountable. So especially if you're starting a team or you're scaling a team, this is going to be your accountability tool to see why they're selling, why they aren't selling, and how they're following up with the leads that you might be providing them. So a good setup. So a really good setup in your CRM is going to improve response time. It's going to help you do a lot of lead tracking, and it's also going to help you coordinate what's going on with your team. A poor setup is going to mean there's going to be lost leads in your database somewhere. I can almost guarantee it. There's going to be missed follow-ups, and you're going to have an unorganized team. Common mistakes I'm going to see in people's database is there's no clear stage. Nobody knows what it means. Tags are unclear, and nobody knows what these automations are going to be. How many people have turned on automation and their agents are just completely freaking out? In this month's playbook that you're going to be able to download for free, we kind of clarify how we make that clear with a lot of our agents. We call them internally explainer sheets. I'm going to give you examples of those. So click the link below. Definitely download this month's playbook if this is something that you want to dig into. So let's talk about the building blocks of any CRM that you have, right? We're talking about automation, tags, and stages. Most any CRM is going to have all three. They might call it a little bit different, but they should have all three of those things, or a lot of us use Zapier and stuff like that, okay? Some of the automations that I want you to think about, and these are going to sound real basic, but I want you to think about in your CRM are follow-up reminders, drip campaigns, and then we're also going to talk about automations in the fact that we're talking about lead flow, right? So follow-up reminders, what's the cadence that you are asking your agents to follow up in and making sure that's automated for them, right? Is there a way? So in Follow Up Boss, we have a lot of smart lists and stuff like that where I can see when the last communication is. I want that automated somewhere in your CRM. Do you have drip campaigns that you're expecting your agents to set up, or do you have it set up for them? Those should be built into your CRM for your agents. And then we're going to talk a little bit about lead flow later, auto assigning those leads to different people. Tags. So when we're talking about tags should be clear across your entire database so everybody's using them. They should not be a note. Some people kind of use the two as a cross-reference. Tags are something that we're going to differentiate in large section of our database, not just leave little one-off notes, right? We're not going to put their birth date in there. We're going to put large differentiators. Then we're also going to have source as a separate thing. I'm hoping that the CRM you use has both. I really recommend doing that. And then enables targeted marketing and easy filtering. This is the biggest piece of advice I can give you for tags and making sure people understand it. If we're going to put an area, you need to make it specific and you need to make sure your agents know, right? Because more often than not, I can see that someone's like, I'm going to add a tag that says Florida. And then the next agent's going to add a tag that says FL. that is going to make it really hard for you to differentiate what they're doing in the database because it's not going to populate correctly, right? So make it clear and define that for your agents. Stages. Most CRMs are going to have stages, and you need to make sure these are properly defined. You can put these in any of your workflows to make sure that they get changed throughout the process. A simple pipeline is better. I do not want to see more than 10 stages. It just gets too crazy and no one knows what's going on. So things like new lead, under contract, nurture, close, all of those things should be staged, and you want to make sure that's defined and really clear for the agents that you're bringing on. Now when we're talking about onboarding, because I do think it's important to mention that when we have something as important, because I feel like this is your central hub for your business, as a CRM, your onboarding needs to be very clear what your requirements are for them to be using the database, how often they need to be in there, how many hours a day, what are you requiring of them, all of those things. But the very basics are basic navigation. You're giving them those explainer sheets, hopefully, that tells them what stages, tags, automations are being used, and then how are we entering everything and what's the requirement. Then you, as the owner or team lead or whoever's owning that database, should be going in there often and making sure that this is done properly, right? It's super, super important. And then this should also be part of your offboarding plan as well. What are we doing with those leads? Are we reassigning people? Are we cleaning data? Are we revoking access and when? All of those good things. And the most important part that nobody thinks about is, what does it say in your contract with your agents? If they choose to leave, who owns the contacts they've put in there? Okay, so I'm going to kind of pause for a second. How do you think about it? If your agents are using the CRM that you provide, what does it say in the contract on who owns what and what commission structure happens after they leave, right? Because in theory, when they leave and they cancel the contract is canceled. So you need to make sure that if you are providing leads or whatever you're doing, there is an agreement should they leave your team. One of the biggest tips I can give you is, if you are going to have them put their own people in there and that they can take their own people out, create a tag right when they're coming in that says XYZ's SOI. That way, when they go to leave, you can just pull up that tag and export them out, right? Make sure you do this before you bring agents onto the team. And then make sure that it's part of your ongoing process to clean up this data. If you have an in-house transaction coordinator, maybe they're updating names, maybe they're updating email addresses, maybe they're updating addresses. Make it part of your daily or weekly or monthly workflow. So when you get to the end of the year and you go to send out a Christmas card, it isn't this huge painful project, right? You have everyone's up-to-date information. And if you have been listening to some of our previous episodes on my solo summer episodes, we have gone over some of the workflows and stuff like that you can build these things into. So if you haven't yet, make sure you stop by the website and download any of our free playbooks. If you sign up for the newsletter, we update that on a monthly basis. Hope this was a little bit of a good information, and have a great day.